In the heart of Zagreb, an old apartment building blended into the city's daily rhythm, but on the second floor, one door stayed locked for decades. Dust gathered, paint peeled, and mail stopped coming. The apartment belonged to Hedviga Golik, a quiet woman who lived alone. When she disappeared, no one noticed. In a crowded city, someone faded away, unnoticed. That door would remain shut for over 40 years. Sometimes the greatest mysteries are hidden in plain sight. What does it say about the world around us? In 1966, Zagreb was part of Yugoslavia, a world without instant communication. One day, Hedviga Golik simply vanished from her apartment. There was no investigation, no missing posters, no family searching. Her disappearance was so quiet, no one realized it had happened. Neighbors remembered her as quiet, with few visitors. Then she was just gone. People assumed she'd moved away, maybe to live with relatives. In a busy building, people come and go. No one questioned her absence. Without close family, there was no one to raise the alarm. In 1966, it was easy to disappear if no one was looking for you. Hedviga slipped through the cracks unnoticed. The haunting part is that her vanishing wasn't forced. She simply stopped being part of the world outside her door. She sat down one day and never got up again. The world outside didn't pause to ask where she went. Her absence made no sound, left no ripple. It was as if she'd been erased from memory. In a city of thousands, one life quietly vanished. No one noticed the silence growing behind that locked door. The city moved on, and so did everyone else. Her story is a reminder of how easy it is to disappear in plain sight. Sometimes the greatest mysteries are the ones no one thinks to solve. Hedviga's life faded quietly, leaving only questions behind. How many others have slipped away, unnoticed? In the end, her disappearance was complete because no one was watching. The world kept turning and she was left behind. For 42 years, neighbors walked past Hedviga's door, never hearing a sound from inside. Babies cried, TVs blared, couples argued, but her apartment was silent. The silence should have been a clue, but it became background noise. People assumed the flat was empty, waiting for a new tenant. No one questioned it, the silence became normal. Residents changed, families moved in and out, but the locked door remained. New neighbors might wonder for a moment, but life was busy. A locked door wasn't their concern. Even building management seemed to forget. Bills stopped, but no one checked. Bureaucracy lost her name in old files. The apartment became a ghost space, officially occupied, but in reality, a tomb. In a small village, someone's absence is noticed quickly. In a city, you can be surrounded by people and still be invisible. The neighbors weren't unkind, they were just busy with their own lives. The silence from Hedviga's apartment was easy to ignore. Urban life makes it simple to tune out what doesn't affect us. Her story is a warning about the dangers of anonymity. In the city, it's possible to disappear without a trace. The silence was not just in her apartment, it was in the hearts of those around her. Sometimes the greatest tragedies are the ones no one sees. Hedviga's story is a mirror for all of us. How many silences do we walk past every day? Outside Hedviga's apartment, the world changed. Presidents came and went, countries rose and fell. Inside, nothing changed. Dust settled, covering everything in a gray layer. The Cold War ended, Yugoslavia broke apart, Croatia was born. But in her flat, it was always 1966. 42 winters and summers passed, unnoticed behind that door. Light shifted through the window, spiders spun webs, the air grew stale. A calendar stayed stuck on 1 month, a newspaper told of forgotten events. Food decayed, clothes hung untouched, styles frozen in time. The apartment became a tragic time capsule, created by neglect and loneliness. Most of us can't imagine a room left untouched for a week, let alone decades. Hedviga was completely cut off. No key, no visitors, no curiosity. Her world shrank to the size of her apartment, then stopped. The stillness was absolute, a physical reminder of a forgotten life. The city outside moved on, but inside time stood still. Her apartment was a silent witness to the years that passed her by. The world changed, but her story remained locked away. Sometimes the past is just a closed door away. The tragedy is not just in the stillness, but in how easily it was ignored. Hedviga's apartment was a monument to a life left behind. In 2008, city officials in Zagreb began updating property records. They found an apartment on the second floor, still registered to Hedviga Golik. No one had heard from her in decades. A bailiff and locksmith arrived, neighbors watching with curiosity. The old lock finally gave way, and a wave of stale air rushed out. They stepped inside, entering a world sealed for a generation. Dust and cobwebs covered everything. The furniture was pure 1960s. The officials expected an empty apartment, ready to declare it vacant. But in the main room, they found something that stopped them cold. What began as routine paperwork became a shocking discovery. The silence of 42 years was about to be broken. The apartment's secret was finally revealed. The story was about to change forever. The officials entered the living room, a scene frozen in time. An old armchair faced a black and white TV, a teacup on a table beside it. It looked like someone had just sat down to watch a show, but the person was still there. In the chair sat the mummified body of Hedviga Golik. The sealed apartment had preserved her, clothes unchanged since 1966. She sat upright, a silent witness to decades gone by. There was no violence, no struggle, just profound loneliness. Police were called, quickly ruling out foul play. Hedviga had died of natural causes, alone with her tea and television. The details were haunting: the untouched teacup, the silent TV, the chair that held her for 42 years. Ordinary objects became part of a tableau of neglect. She was not a recluse in the wilderness, but a city dweller surrounded by people. Yet, she died as alone as anyone could be. The scene was a powerful reminder of fragile human connections. Her life ended quietly, unnoticed by the world outside. The apartment was a time capsule of solitude. The tragedy was not just her death, but the years of silence that followed. In the end, her story was told not by her life, but by her absence. The room was a monument to a life forgotten. Sometimes the saddest stories are the quietest ones. News of the discovery spread quickly, first among neighbors, then across Zagreb, and finally, the world. People were stunned. How could someone lie dead for 42 years, unnoticed? The neighbors felt guilt and disbelief, realizing they'd lived beside a forgotten life. Police confirmed her identity, piecing together fragments of her story. Hedviga had lived, worked, and existed, but left barely a trace. Her story forced people to look at their own communities and wonder about the closed doors around them. In death, Hedviga became famous for being forgotten, a symbol of urban isolation. Her story was not about who she was, but what happened after she died. The shock was not just the mummified body, but what it represented, how easily someone can be erased. We like to think we're connected, but her story showed the cracks in our safety nets. A person can fall through everyone. The collective gasp was a moment of realization. Loneliness can become this. Her tragedy was a public spectacle of a private life. The lesson: it's possible to vanish, even in a crowd. Hedviga's story is a warning for us all. Hedviga Golik's story is a lesson about loneliness in the modern world. Some of the loneliest people live in big cities, surrounded by millions but invisible. Urban life builds walls, separate apartments, cars, headphones, privacy. But those walls can become prisons, cutting us off from the contact we need. Her apartment became her tomb because no one could see in, and she couldn't reach out. Community isn't automatic, it takes effort. We have to look up, notice, say hello, check in on those around us. Small actions, greetings, kindness, concern, are the threads of community. Without them, we're just lonely individuals living side by side. The tragedy isn't that Hedviga died, everyone does. The tragedy is that she was alone for so long in life and death. Her story warns that we're losing our sense of responsibility for each other. If we're not careful, our cities could fill with forgotten people. Her life is a stark reminder: isolation can happen anywhere. We must choose connection over indifference. The lesson is simple: don't let the people around you disappear. Reach out, build community, and remember those who might be alone. In doing so, we honor her memory and prevent future tragedies. Hedviga Golik's story isn't just sad, it's a call to action. It asks us to look around, to know our neighbors, to care. A simple hello, a knock on the door can prevent tragedies like this. Community is a personal responsibility. It starts with each of us. Notice when mail piles up, when someone disappears. Small gestures, calls, visits, offers to help can be lifelines. We can build stronger, more caring communities one act at a time. Let her story inspire us to reach out, especially to those who are elderly or alone. The difference between being connected and forgotten is often just a moment of kindness. Don't let people fade away behind locked doors. Knock, connect, let them know they're seen. By doing so, we honor Hedviga Golik and ensure her story is never repeated. In the end, we build a world where no one is forgotten,